Hi, this is Chris Westfall with a very important technology update. If you run your own website or somebody even runs a website for you using WordPress, which is the most popular content management system for a website today, and all the Fortune 500 companies are barely getting into it, they're gradually getting into using WordPress as their content management system. What this means is that hackers around the world, particularly China and Russia, are building these bots that try to exploit vulnerabilities within WordPress right now. And if you are not updating your website, it's just a matter of time, but you will be hacked. And if you're on a network with other websites on the same big server, then they will potentially get into the root of that server and infect the other sites. That's what happened to about 130 of our sites around here over the last few weeks. And I want to share with you what I've learned from some programmers and some essentials that you must do if you use WordPress. And WordPress is an awesome system. You can pretty much find a plugin to do anything in WordPress, but here are the keys I want to share with you. First, in WordPress, you'll see in the dashboard when you're logged in, these little things that say updates up there. And you'll also see them under different things, like under appearance and themes, you would see see the orange thing there. It says one. That means there's just one update there. It's important to go to the updates page that's in your dashboard. Now, on this particular website, I've already done 90% of the updates with 20 of them or so. But you'll see three different categories of updates, and it's very important that you stay on top of the latest updates. And I'll explain to you in a second why. But on the updates page, you'll see all the themes that are loaded into your system that you could pick from and choose back and forth all the time. But those need to be updated because the vulnerabilities there are exploited, discovered, and then fixed and patched, and the updates are available for you, but the updates are not done automatically. So if you have a website, you must go back and check on it. It would be like leaving your store unattended with the doors wide open to your store to just set up a website and forget it. You don't want to do that. It could take down your site, and if you're on my server, other sites on there. So again, look for themes and look for the next one is plugins. And all you have to do is select all of them. And sometimes there are like 5 of them that need to be updated. You should check this at least monthly. And all you have to do is update plugins just like that. Now, what it does is it temporarily makes your site unavailable to everybody else. And for a few seconds, it goes out there, grabs the latest and greatest plugins, which includes security fixes, and they're updated. See? Now I'm going to return to WordPress updates because the last one is even most important, and we're starting from the bottom to the top. But at the very top up here, like if you're looking at updates, there's something I need to do on that one plugin too. But it will say the latest version. See, it's got themes down here, plugins here, and this would be the latest version of WordPress. That is the critical, most important thing you can do is update your latest to the latest version of WordPress. Here's why. WordPress, in their infinite wisdom, and it is pretty much a nonprofit, they make this available at no charge as far as the delivery system WordPress goes, the chassis of your website. But what they have done recently is they've started to expound upon the vulnerabilities as the justification for why they're coming out with the latest version. It's great to do that. It's great to come out with the latest version. And in this case, it's version 4.0.1, and I'm dating myself with this video. By the time you see this, it may be something newer. Even more reason why you need to check on your website. But when they came out with version 4.0, it changed the graphical universe of WordPress. It changed how it looks, and it's wonderful, right? The media thing is better, and the plugin um, selection process is much easier, and all that. But when they did that, they created a number of exploits that were not there before, and hackers started to use those. And for versions 3.9, 3.8, and 3.7, there were other security vulnerabilities that were starting to be exploited more and more. So what they've done is they came out with version 4.01, and when they did that, they said, here's how version 4 was being exploited. And they went into great specificity, which means the bad guys said, oh, I didn't know that. Let me start exploiting them that way. So if you did not immediately update to version 4.01, as again, at the time of this message, it may be something newer now, then you were a potential exploit of these people, very easy prey. And if you don't change some security settings in your site, it's very easy for a bot, that is a computer robot, a program, to troll the internet looking for anything and everything that has the old version of WordPress on there. So if you don't change the security settings, the default is that it broadcasts to the world what version of WordPress you're using, and that's something you want to turn off as well. So you can go up there and update to the latest version of WordPress if you've not yet done so. Update all your plugins and update your themes. You should do this no less than monthly. Now I'm going to share with you one thing that I've discovered based on the programs that helped me recover from the malware, and it's a plugin called WordFence. WordFence. And you can see the different plugins that you've got installed here and how you can utilize them, but we don't have WordFence on this particular site, so I'm going to show you how to utilize this free plugin. You can pay for it, and I do pay for it on my big sites because it does a few more things, but if you go under plugins, add new, this is what you want to do if you've not done this yet on your WordPress site. You go under search plugins and see here's the new graphical user interface. You just type in WordFence just like that, and I've done this on every site that I've come across that I can try to help manage. So go look for WordFence and just do install now. There it is. It's going to install the WordFence plugin. Now you're not done yet. There are some critical configuration settings I want you to be aware of that will help keep your site secure. And I'm going to show you what happens if you don't. Okay, so ignore this up here. I've got to work with one plugin, but now we need to activate. It's successfully installed it. Activate WordFence. Now it's going to be on the bottom left-hand side where you can change some configuration settings. And WordFence does a number of things. It helps to lock out people who are trying to brute force attack you, as in you can get alerted when things happen on your website, and that's a very important thing. I'm going to put my email address in there, and it's going to alert me when things happen on that particular website, and that's a good thing to have. And then I'm going to close it. It will take you on a tour of it. But if you look down here on the left-hand side, you'll see WordFence now. So you can start playing with this thing. Now it will turn itself into automatic mode later, but first you need to set up some very critical options, and I'll walk you through some of those. And feel free to pause this video, go make those changes, and then come back. Now the first thing you want to do is at the top here. Do you want WordFence to stay up to date automatically? Yes, you definitely do, because some hackers have even found a way to exploit WordFence. Yes, it's true. So you can see here, it starts off in free mode. I think it's about $20 or $30 a year to get a license for the pro mode, and it's definitely worth doing that. One of the things it can do is it can go out there in the pro mode. Let me stop this from flying. And it can make sure that you're not using your website out there on the internet to bomb the rest of the internet with spam coming from your server. That's very important. That's actually what was happening with our server. It was being overloaded because somebody let the hacker in there and they were taking over the email part, and it was just sending all kinds of junk out there. So if you do pay for the premium version, I highly recommend turning at least these two things on, so to look at the internet and make sure your site has not been exploited. Now we're going to change this to automatic updates every 24 hours, and we're going to save that change. But more importantly, I want you to come down here and you'll see some blanks right there. Now, scans to include. It's going to scan your public site for vulnerabilities. That's very important on the paid site too. So it will scan whatever the public is seeing and seeing if it's putting malware out there to those people. That's important. But if you're going to stay with the free version, you've got to turn on this and this. What that does is it scans your theme. That's the themes loaded on your particular website. That's a very potentially high dangerous exploit for hackers to change. And it will constantly, whenever a scan is run, compare your theme files with the theme files that are on WordPress. Very important, right? And more importantly than that, and used even more, are the plugin files. The plugin files will be scanned on your site versus what's out there in the rest of the world. Now, potentially the best hack that they do is they'll change your plugin to start doing some other things for them. So you definitely want to turn that on so that it will constantly scan and say, well, is this the latest version of this plugin file? If so, it's going to notify you. If a hacker has gotten into your site somehow and changed your plugin file, you definitely want to know that. And some other things here that you need to turn on, scan files outside your WordPress installation. That's important because sometimes if they can get into your server, even not through a fault of your own, maybe through another site that's on the same computer, the physical computer that your website is on, they can get into your files and put other programs on there. Now, WordPress does not use those programs, so it typically won't know about it, but they can execute those programs, which is bad. So yes, check this. Scan files outside of WordPress, and then The latest exploit they've been doing, scan the image files like your pictures, your JPEGs, PNGs, GIF files, and so forth. Scan those image files too. What they've been doing lately is they're hiding executable programs inside of image files, and then they can tell the server to execute the image file as if it's an executable file, or they can simply rename it to something.exe or .php, and boom, they're running that program. So yes, you want to scan the image files as well, and that's about the end of it. And then at the bottom here, you want to immediately log out invalid usernames. And that's a good thing for what they call a brute force attack. That's when they're trying with these computers to try anything and everything that's a possible combination. They'll try admin, administrator, admin 1, admin 2. You don't want to use admin as your login name for WordPress. You definitely don't want to do that. That's one of the easiest way to get in. So yes, you want to lock out invalid usernames and remember your username. And you'll recall in a technology update last year, I talked about this little program up here called LastPass. LastPass is a browser add-on you can use in Firefox, you can use in Chrome, and I guess you can use it in Internet Explorer, but that's so hacker prone, I don't even use Internet Explorer anymore. And you can use this on your smartphone too. So when you go to those insurance company websites where there's like, 15 different companies you're going to, and remembering all those passwords, and some of them like United Home Life and stuff, they want you to change your password all the time, like every 60 days. Well, LastPass will keep track of your usernames and passwords for you. So every time you come to your WordPress site, it will tell you, here's your username and password, and pre-fill that for you if you want it to. So there should be no reason that you'll forget what your username and password is, either for this site or any other, if you're using the free LastPass. So go ahead and check this box that if they're putting in admin or something like that, that they're just trying to hack into your site, it'll immediately lock them out. And you can change the amount of time somebody's locked out to like 60 days. So if they're using a wrong name and trying to get into your site, they'll be blocked out. But after they try it for a few times, they'll move on to a different IP address. That's the location they're coming from, and they'll just continually try. But you want to lock them out and make it as difficult as possible. That's about it, and we're going to save the changes down here. Sorry, I'm talking fast, but I'm trying to get the recording done for you as quick as possible because it's pretty darn important. Now you'll want to go back up now that it's installed and do your first scan. So under WordFence on the left-hand side, hit scan there, and it will bring up the scanning window and start WordFence scan right there. See, it's starting to scan right now, and the results of that scan will be down below. Now let me skip right ahead like they do on the cooking shows and show you the end result. Here's a website that was scanned recently and had no security on there before, no updates were done, anything like that. And look what the WordFence plugin, this is the free version again, has found. And down the bottom underneath the scan results there, see it scanned everything up there? It found this file. File contains suspected malware. Now this is the directory where that file is found, and it looks like it's normal WP content and under cache files. Then it starts to get a little crazy under super cache, which is not a legitimate directory. It's got the name of the name of the website, and that subdirectory does not belong there. And then an index.html. That means this is a website. They've actually put a web page, HTML page, on this server into the cache folder. Now, how did they do that? We don't know. Did they hack into here? We don't know. But if you look at the file, and this is why it's critical to have something scanning your site all the time. This is looking at the file, and look at this. This is actually a website, and I'm looking at the title here. This is the title of what the website would be showing. Resume Writers, Long Island, best resume writing service available. And this is a very common hack that they do. They'll use this. They'll use your server to advertise their thing so that Google will find it as a backlink. So if you go right here and you go to that exact address on there, you'll actually find a website that's marketing somebody else's services for you. Isn't that ridiculous? Now here's another one down here that it found. Now this is under, look at this. This is WordPress content under the plugins folder. Docs that they created. This does not belong there. A cache file so that you probably can't find the file, and then numbered with some kind of ridiculous number there. And let's look at what this file is that they have inserted on this server. Again, Resume Writers, Long Island. So they're trying to use your website here to get backlinks and stuff through Google. Now the good thing is the best way to eliminate these is once you've done your your scan under Word Fence, and you've done the scan, and it comes down with these vulnerabilities, click on bulk operation here and select all deletable files because these do not belong. So select deletable files and it will be checking these boxes of these files right here. See, this is checked right here. This is checked right there. Check those files and then hit bulk delete selected items. Bulk delete those items, right? So now those things are deleted. And if they're repairable files, which means if there are plugin files that have been changed and they're in not violation, but they're not consistent with original WordPress plugin files and so forth, you can select repair and it will select all those files and then you can repair them. It will reinstall those files based on the plugins and the WordPress repository. Essentially, it will restore those files to what they really should be. And again, this is something that needs to be done on a regular basis because it is a very vulnerable world out there to have a website that's open to the internet. People will find a way to get in, especially when they can task a computer to do the hard work for them and the heavy lifting of trying multiple things and multiple vulnerabilities. So again, just to recap, the most important thing you can do is go to plugin. I'm sorry, first let me start back again. Go to your dashboard and then look at updates. That's the first thing to do. You need to update three things: your plugins, your themes, and the version of WordPress. Plugins, themes, and WordPress. If you see anything in here that needs to be updated, for heaven's sakes, update it. Then the next thing to do is get a good plugin, like go to plugins, add new, and get WordFence as a plugin. Very important. You can try other ones. I've tried other ones. They don't work as good as WordFence, and it's updated all the time. I do recommend getting the paid version if you're serious about your business and you don't want your website to be down. It's not a guarantee that it won't be down, but it's even more likely that it will be staying up. Then click on install. Then the next page will say, do you want to activate? After you activate WordFence, you want to go into WordFence, look at options. And another cool thing is you can block countries, other countries besides the US from even landing on your site if you do the pro version. And that's been handy for me. So under this, you want to go down and do automatic updates. So check that. Then you want to come down and make sure that these are checked. Check the theme files against the WordPress repository. Check the plugin files. And then you want to come down and check scan files outside of WordPress installation also. Scan image files as if they were an executable. Then come all the way down and hit Save Changes. That's all you have to do, and then run your very first scan. I showed you what to do when you get the results. If you get something that shows as a potential violation. Now look at this. Here's another one. This is running a brand new scan, and it found that this is just a sample, but this is really neat. You can check the theme. Watch this. Let's check this. These are just warnings if something might be wrong with the theme, the Canty theme. It may be bad, it may not. You can restore them to the original if you want to. Another thing you can do is check how the file is changed. This is kind of neat. And look at this. See, this is a potential warning because it's got the yellow. When you see the X, that's a real big bad thing. So let's look at this particular file and you can see how the file was changed. On the left-hand side, it's going to show the original file before some changes were made. On the right-hand side, it's going to show the changes. And it could have been done by a hacker. It could have been done just by your particular WordPress installation. How do you know? You can always just repair the file, restore the original version. Now let's look at this. This is in the, I want to look at this footer of this Canty theme. And the footer, of course, is what's shown at the very bottom of every website. And that does not look totally goofy to me. What you want to look for is in some of these hacks, they'll actually show that it's pulling information from a different server. If it's pulling information from some other server to show up on your site, that's a very bad thing. But if you don't know what you're doing, come under bulk operation here, select the deletable files and hit delete. There's none of them that are deletable, but there are some that are repairable. So select all the repairable files and hit repair. Yeah, repair the files. It's going back out to original WordPress and pulling those original files, and now there's no more problems. Now you're running the files that as they were intended to be from those plugin people. Okay, so I hope this has not been too complicated, but if you're going to run WordPress, you need to understand there are some things that you have to do, due diligence to keep your site live. Most important of all is to go to the dashboard, look at updates. Do this every month at least. And if you're going to get anything out of your WordPress site, for heaven's sakes, write some freaking articles. Write some posts under here. Do add new and write some posts on there. What are the questions people are asking about your business? Write the post about it. If you come up with new ideas, write a post about it. Just want to vent about something, write a post about it. Whatever somebody's going to be searching for Google, if you've written posts about that, you have a very high likelihood chance somebody's going to find you in your website. So write the articles on there. That's what's going to keep your site relevant. If you just have it as a billboard that's just going to sit in one place and never be used, what's the point of even having a website? Just go get some kind of cheesy site out there that's free. WordPress should be used in the way that it's intended, which is constant, updated content. That's what Google's looking for if you want to get any traction at all out of your website. So again, my name is Chris Westfall. I hope this has been valuable to you. And I know that if you've been socked by this malware or the viruses put on your website, this is the way to clean that up. If it's been too late, then you need to hire somebody to help you fix that. I can make a recommendation to you. Hopefully it won't get to that point because it does get very expensive. This is a way you can prevent that from happening. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't take positive steps to implement a solution before it happens, you too will be a victim. And if you're on my server, you'll likely infect all my other websites too, and I'll just have to remove your website because it's a vulnerability. So update your website. My name is Chris Westfall with MedicareAgentTraining.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.